follow along. This is it. You'll learn how to build a house a little at a time this way. Hey everyone, this is Martin, and we are continuing the series of the hands-on homestead house build. And today we're going to be pouring some cement floor, a section of it down here in our basement. And if you could, hit the subscribe button, the notification bell. And what we're doing on the cement floor down here is a little bit non-traditional. Okay, and I'm going to admit that right up front. In most cases, whenever you're building a basement and you're building basement walls, you'd get a footing laid in and then either pour a slab floor on the footings and then start building up, or you would build the walls right off the footings coming up and then go back in and pour the cement floor later in between those walls. And the trouble with doing that is, that's the way to do it, but the trouble with that is that if you're not real skilled in cement work, like I am not real skilled, I know how to do it, I've done plenty of it, but it is hard work getting a floor poured up against the walls and getting everything level around the edges of the walls and all of that. And when you're doing it just as a couple of people, like my wife and I, it's very difficult to try to do that, and I don't think I want to take that challenge on. So what we're doing, I'm going to show you down here. What we are doing is we're kind of breaking up the floor into segments and pouring them. And what I've done is I've built forms up around the footings, and we're pouring segments that we can handle, the two of us. And so you can see this section over here has actually got three segments. There's the one we poured first, the one we poured second, and then the middle one is the one we poured last. And there's a grid of rebar underneath all of that that's all tied in together to kind of hold it all intact as one big piece. And by doing that, we've got the floor really good and level. Those forms, we made sure they were all leveled when we set them up. They're just temporarily attached right to the footings, and they're level. So we know that our floor is level. And underneath the floor, there's all of the drainage that the clean white rock and the drainage tiles to drain any kind of moisture that comes up from under the floor out before it starts trying to force its way up through any of the seams and any of the cement. That's the theory anyway. I think it'll work out okay. And if you look down here, you'll see where we did the forms that's the storm shelter area over there. And then this is going to be the stairwell over here. And this is what those forms look like. This string represents the line of the edge of the cement blocks that will be actually down in there. So the cement blocks will still go to the footings, and they will, the floor will come up about, it's about 2 inches, I guess, above the footings. So those blocks will be seated down in there with a mortar bed, and then we'll seal around them with mortar. For any kind of gaps that are there, and you'll see how that process goes. But that's what we're doing on this, and we're going to go ahead and pour this section that I'm sitting in here right now is one that we've prepared for the stairwell that comes down from the outside entry. So we'll be pouring that one today, so you'll be able to kind of see the whole process that we're going through to actually put the forms up, get the cement poured in here, get it leveled off, screeded, and then troweled in. And follow along. This is it. You'll learn how to build a house a little at a time this way. So I'm going to show you several things right down here. I've got all of the forms built for the entire stairwell floor, except for this one end. And I'm going to finish them off so you can kind of see how this works. Now, I've already gone through with a laser level and leveled or got readings on this entire set of footings everywhere down here. And I know that right now, this set of footing right here is virtually the same as all the rest of it over here. This side got just a little bit low, like less than 1/4 of an inch. So if you were to put a level on there, you would see that it's a little bit low here compared to where everything else is leveled. So I'm going to bring that up just a little bit. But based on these measurements, I'm going to go ahead and attach this for the end cap of the forms down here. And then we're going to anchor it in and then fill in these two little gaps, and we'll be ready to start setting the rebar and doing that. Now this pink string here represents the line of where the blocks are going to go. And if you see why it's over top of the form here, that's because the cement is going to come up to here, so there's going to be a gap where we'll set the block down in and then fill that gap with mortar as we go. So along this edge, this is the corner of it, there's the other corner of the outside of the stairwell. And so what I need to do is I need to set this form so that there's room to set those blocks in there correctly. And I've already figured out that that's between 6 3/4 and 7 inches from the line out to the form, to the front edge of the form. So there's 7 there and 7 there. And what we'll do is just go ahead and anchor this form right down to the cement floor or the footing, and then fill in those gaps. Okay, I'm using Tapcons to anchor these forms down to the cement, down to the footings, and I'm using hex head drive ones just because it's easier to anchor this stuff in and then pull it back out afterwards. If we were just anchoring it in and leaving it there, I wouldn't worry about it so much, but we want to be able to pull them out and remove the form when the time comes. So I'm countersinking them to start with so that they don't stick up too high. Which is that. And then we're going to go ahead and drill down into the concrete. And yes, I know that using a masonry bit isn't the ideal thing to go through wood with, but I don't want to mess around with using 2 drills and 2 different bits, so I'm just drilling it down with the masonry bit right through the wood. All right. What we will do after this is we'll put a piece of duct tape across the top of that to keep cement from getting down in there. That way we'll be able to pull the duct tape off and back those out when the time comes. Alright, so we are putting together the rebar and holding them together with these little wire ties, and they're pretty simple. They're almost like a bread zip tie. You just wrap them around the intersections there. And they got this special little tool designed to twist them together. And that holds them together.
So why do we use rebar?
Rebar, that is to hold the concrete together and prevent cracking and separation. That's what it does. I mean, its whole purpose is it's called reinforcing rod. So it reinforces the concrete.
So we've got all of them laid out like this.
Alright, what we are doing right now is called screeding, and it's basically we're just leveling it off even with the tops of the forms. So here we go. So this is a bowl float and is designed to kind of smooth out the initial surface and also kind of bring moisture to the surface as well. So that's what we're going to put down right now just to get this smoothened out a little bit. Okay, the last step of this is troweling it, and usually it takes at least 2, sometimes 3, depending on how wet it is and how fast it's drying. And what we're trying to do is pull moisture at the surface right up to the top and smooth it out good. It helps to get kind of the moisture out, smoothen things up, and actually create a harder surface when you're doing that. And there's some voids over here, and so as I trowel this, I'll be putting a lot of pressure right here just to try to get that moisture. They call it kind of the cream that goes on top because it's a very smooth cement, and it kind of helps force the rocks down in. So we're going to do that here to pull that up so it'll fill the voids in. And there, it's pretty much got it. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a lot of moisture coming to the surface here while I'm doing this. So this will not be the only, this will be the first round. And we'll go and do another one later when it has a chance to dry a little bit more. What are you talking about?
Right there.
Right here?
Yeah. Yeah, it does smooth it out.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just the first round. We'll do another one when it dries up a little bit more. I would say probably in about 30 minutes or 45 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and go down through and do all of this, and then come back out 30-45 minutes from now and do I think this next round after this will be the final one. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a like and a share, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and the notification bell. See you next time.